Are you sure you have everything under control? That your health issues are just aging? Let's shatter this illusion. You may feel fine, but that doesn't mean your body isn't betraying you at this very moment. One morning, you'll wake up and won't be able to get out of bed. Or you'll go to the store and suddenly realize you can't remember why you came. Doctors will call it age-related changes. But the truth is, it's the result of habits that have been destroying you from the inside for years. And maybe, just maybe, it's already too late to change anything. Or is it? Are you sure you're not making 7 deadly mistakes that are shortening your life? The clock is ticking. Let's start with the first one. Mistake number 1. Lack of daily movement. The silent killer you don't notice. You wake up, leisurely sip your morning tea, check the news, then settle into your chair, pick up your phone. Sound familiar? Now imagine that at this very moment, your heart is literally screaming for help, but you can't hear it. Fact: people who move less than 30 minutes a day die, on average, 7 years earlier than those who stay active. 7 years. Think about that. 7 years that might not exist in your future. 7 years you could have spent with your children, your grandchildren, doing the things you love. But instead, a slow, imperceptible decline awaits. What happens to your body when you don't move? Your body is a complex system, and when one part stops functioning properly, the consequences snowball like an avalanche. Blood stagnates. Your heart has to work overtime to pump thick, sluggish blood. Your risk of heart attack and stroke doubles. Your organs suffer. Slowed circulation means your brain is deprived of oxygen. Do you find yourself becoming forgetful? Your memory is already deteriorating. Your joints weaken. Lack of movement leads to muscle atrophy and bone deterioration. One simple fall, and you might never get up again. What happens if you keep living like this? For an elderly person, a simple fall isn't just a bruise. It's a ticket to a wheelchair, or worse, a hospital bed. Fact: more than 50% of elderly people who break a hip don't live longer than a year. Why? Because they become bedridden. Their bodies weaken, muscles waste away, and eventually, they simply don't survive. Let's be honest. Are you ready to become a burden on your family? Do you want your children to have to help you stand up, lift you out of bed, care for you every day? Or are you still thinking, "Oh, I'll be fine"? What to do? Your rescue starts now. Rule number 1, get up and take a walk around the room. Right now. Yes, right now. Your heart needs to keep moving. If you can't walk fast, walk slowly. The key is to move, even if it's just for 5 minutes every hour. Try this simple test. 1. Try to stand up from a chair without using your hands. Could you do it? If not, that's a warning sign. 2. Lift one leg and hold it for 10 seconds. Feeling unsteady? Your coordination is already at risk. This isn't just exercise. This is your only way to prevent disability. Do you think you still have time? Fine. Then here's my next question. How much are you willing to gamble with your life? Let's examine the next habit and see how far down the path of self-destruction you've already gone. The enemy living in your fridge. You open your fridge. Inside, you see your usual set of foods. You grab a slice of bread, spread some butter, add a pinch of salt. You drink a cup of coffee with sugar. Everything seems normal. But let's take a closer look. Are you sure you know how much salt and sugar you consume daily? Let's be honest. Do you even track it? If not, I have bad news for you. Your fridge may already be hiding your killer. Habit number 2. Excess salt and sugar. The invisible poison bomb. Salt. Sugar. 2 things most people can't imagine their lives without. But they are destroying you. Salt, a deadly poison for your blood vessels. It doesn't just retain water and cause swelling. It literally corrodes your blood vessels, making them rigid and fragile. The result? Hypertension, stroke, kidney failure. Fact: every extra portion of salt increases your risk of stroke by 23%. Sugar, a brain killer. You think sugar gives you energy? In reality, it destroys nerve cells, triggers inflammation, and damages memory. Fact: people who consume high amounts of sugar are twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. A story that will make you think twice. Margaret, 67 years old, Texas. She loved salty snacks all her life, drank tea with sugar, and never worried about the consequences. One morning, she woke up with a severe headache. She thought it was just a migraine. But an hour later, she lost the ability to speak. Stroke. Doctors told her she had hypertension caused by excessive salt intake, but she never even knew she had high blood pressure. The result? One day, and her life changed forever. Are you sure this won't happen to you? What can you do? How to avoid disaster. Reduce salt intake. Maximum 5 grams per day. That's about 1 teaspoon, including all the hidden salt in your food. Limit sugar. A safe amount is no more than 25 grams per day. Read ingredient labels. You'd be shocked. 80% of grocery store products already contain hidden salt and sugar. Even bread and deli meats. You might say, but I'm used to eating like this. And I'll ask, do you want to live longer? Or be bedridden after a stroke? But you know what's even worse? There's one more habit that's slowly killing you, and you don't even realize it. Let's break it down next. Habit number 3. Lack of water. Slow suffocation of your body. Water isn't just a liquid. It's the foundation of life. And when your body doesn't get enough of it, everything starts falling apart. Your blood becomes thick and sluggish. Your heart has to work twice as hard to pump it. The result? Blood pressure spikes, increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. Your cells don't get enough oxygen. You feel tired, sleepy, suffer from headaches. It's not just exhaustion. It's a sign your body is already suffering. Your kidneys start failing. Kidney stones, urinary problems, and ultimately, kidney failure. Fact: if a person drinks less than 1 liter of water per day, their risk of a heart attack increases by 50%. Now, be honest. How much water do you drink daily? Simple test. 1. Pinch the skin on the back of your hand and release it. If it slowly returns to its original position, you're dehydrated. 2. Do you have dry lips and constant thirst? That's already a warning sign. You are slowly killing your body by depriving it of water. What should you do? Drink at least 1.52 liters of pure water daily. Start your day with a glass of water. Don't replace water with tea, coffee, or soda. But do you know what's even worse? Even if you drink enough water, there's another silent killer that is destroying you, and you don't even realize it. I'm just stressed, like everyone else, you might say. But let's break down what stress is actually doing to you. It raises cortisol levels. This hormone eats away at your body. It constricts blood vessels, increases blood pressure, and causes inflammation. It destroys your heart. People who experience daily stress die 5 to 7 years earlier on average. It leads to diabetes. Cortisol causes a spike in blood sugar levels. The result? Type 2 diabetes, which damages blood vessels, eyesight, and kidneys. A true story that proves stress kills. Henry, 72, worked in banking his whole life. He was active, energetic, but always anxious. Loans, deadlines, financial pressure, then health issues. Doctors warned him that stress was a killer, but he laughed it off. Who isn't stressed these days? One morning, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. Heart attack. Doctors said his blood vessels were destroyed by years of high cortisol levels. He lived under stress for decades, and it killed him. How to save yourself? What can you do? Breathing technique. Inhale for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. This lowers cortisol levels. Turn off the news. Scary headlines and negativity keep you in a constant state of stress. Get fresh air and move more. Even 15 minutes outside significantly reduces stress levels. Do you really think you have everything under control? Now imagine this. You have a heart attack. You're in the hospital, weak, unable to move. Is that what you want? If not, start changing your habits right now. But we're not done yet. There are 3 more deadly habits that are destroying you at an alarming rate. The final blow to your health. You've already learned how lack of movement, water, excess salt, sugar, and stress have been silently destroying your body. But there's still one of the most dangerous mistakes that thousands of people make after 60. And the worst part? They have no idea it's killing them. Habit number 5, a complete avoidance of fats, the invisible catastrophe for your brain. Fats are bad. Cholesterol kills. You've been told this for years. So what did you do? You completely cut out fats from your diet, switched to fat-free products, stopped eating butter, nuts, and fish, and now your brain is slowly dying. What happens to your body without fats? Your brain loses its nutrition. Did you know that 60% of your brain is fat? Without healthy fats, your neurons start to deteriorate. The result? Memory lapses, slower thinking, lack of focus. Your risk of stroke increases. Without fatty acids, your blood vessels become brittle. They simply burst. Hormonal imbalance. Fats are essential for hormone production. A lack of them leads to chronic fatigue, depression, and weakened immunity. Signs. You desperately need healthy fats. Do you often forget words? Do you feel like your mind is foggy? Is it harder to focus, and do you feel more irritable? If you answered yes to even one question, you're already at risk. What should you do? How to save your brain and blood vessels. 1. Add healthy fats to your diet. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, avocados, nuts, walnuts, almonds. Olive oil. 2. Avoid trans fats. Margarine. Fast food. Cheap processed pastries. You might be surprised, but natural fats actually extend your lifespan and keep your brain young. But we're not done yet. 2 more habits could cost you your life. And if you don't stop them, the ending is predictable. You've gotten used to being alone. You go out less. You call your friends less often. People are slowly disappearing from your life, and maybe you don't even realize how it's destroying you. You think loneliness is just a temporary phase? That you're fine on your own? Wrong. Your brain is not built for isolation, and if it doesn't get enough social interaction, it starts to die. How does lack of socialization destroy your brain? Neurons lose connections. Your brain functions like a network. The more you interact with people, the stronger the connections between brain cells. No interaction equals these connections start breaking down. Fact: people with active social lives are 3 times less likely to develop dementia. The brain begins to decay. When you stop socializing, your brain loses stimulation. The result? Memory declines. Thinking speed slows down. The risk of Alzheimer's disease increases. A real story that could happen to anyone. Sarah, 75 years old. After her husband passed away, she isolated herself. She stopped going on walks, stopped talking to her neighbors. "I'm fine. I'm used to being alone," she said. 2 years passed. She stopped recognizing familiar faces. She forgot where she put things. Diagnosis? Dementia. Doctors said her brain literally shut down. due to the lack of social interaction. Now she can't even remember what happened yesterday. Do you want to end up like her? What should you do? How to keep your brain active? Socialize, even if you don't feel like it. Call your kids and grandkids. Strike up conversations in stores, on the street. Find like-minded people, a hobby club, social group, online community. At least 30 minutes of social interaction per day. Even text messages count. The key is to engage your brain in communication. If you can't meet people in person, use technology. Video calls, messages, even regular phone calls keep your brain engaged. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's a direct path to brain decay. Think it's too early for you to worry about this? Think again. But we're still not done. There's one final mistake that can steal your future, and chances are, you're already making it. Habit number 7, avoiding new knowledge, the invisible process that speeds up brain aging. Have you noticed that as you age, it's harder to remember names, dates, events? You walk into a room and forget why you came. Words are on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't recall them. You blame aging, but this isn't aging. It's brain decay caused by a lack of mental exercise. Your brain either grows or deteriorates. There is no middle ground. What happens when you stop learning? Neurons shrink and die. Your brain isn't a muscle, but it works the same way. If you don't use it, you lose it. Memory starts to crumble. You forget more often, misplace things, and struggle to recall conversations. Thinking slows down. You become sluggish and less responsive to situations. Your risk of dementia doubles. How does this look in real life? Let's be honest. When was the last time you learned something new? When was the last time you read something more complex than the news? When was the last time you picked up a new skill or hobby? If you can't answer these questions, your brain is already deteriorating. How to save your brain. 1. Read at least 10 minutes a day. Fiction, science articles, history. It doesn't matter what you read. What matters is the process of reading. 2. Challenge your brain. Learn new words in another language. Solve puzzles, crosswords, riddles. Get comfortable with new technology, your phone, computer. 3. Surround yourself with people who bring new information. Stay curious about new technologies. Ask your grandkids about what's trending today. Every single day, your brain needs new information. If you don't feed it, it shuts down. The bottom line, you either grow or decline. The choice is yours. Right now, you have 2 paths. 1. Let your brain deteriorate, become slow, forgetful, and weak. 2. Keep challenging it, stimulating it, making it stronger. Your choice determines your future. Do you want to keep a sharp mind for life? Then start working on it now. Now you know everything. But the real question is, will you take action or stay in the same place? You can forget this message and continue life as usual, or you can start changing your life today. The decision is yours.